Hi, welcome to 2-Minute Writing Tips. I'm Kirsten and I'm a writer and content strategist. One of the things we're all taught as kids is that stories should have a beginning, a middle, and an ending. Of course, this is true, but story arcs are a little more complicated than that. This is a typical story arc where the x-axis represents time and the y-axis represents action. We start with the setup or exposition, what we know as the beginning. This is where we are introduced to our protagonist and we learn about what their ordinary world looks like. Early in the story, the protagonist experiences the inciting incident. This is the thing that happens that leads into the rest of the story by inviting the protagonist to step out of their ordinary world and embark on the adventure. Then the action escalates as the story takes the protagonist further out of their ordinary world. We see how they respond to the inciting incident and the decisions they make that lead them to the climax. This is where the action is at its peak. Here the protagonist does something exceptional. It usually involves a high degree of risk. The climax usually takes the form of an intense confrontation between the protagonist and the antagonist, and only one of them comes out as the winner. And then we see the falling action. Did the protagonist fail or succeed in their quest? Did their risk pay off? Is there any fallout from their actions? Although the action is not as intense here, it is still riveting because the story has a number of threads that haven't been tied up and the reader is curious. And finally, we have the resolution or the ending. This is where all remaining threads in the story are resolved, questions are answered, and we get a glimpse of the protagonist's new normal. This story arc generally applies to novels, but it can also be used for shorter stories, obviously in a compressed form. Try it out, see how it works for you, let me know in the comments. That's it for today. I'll see you tomorrow.